Peace and Black Power family, this is your host Rahiem Shabazz, and we are here for another episode of Necessary Blackness podcast. And today we have a special guest in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Our special guest is no other than Amadeuz Christ, and he is a filmmaker out of the Bay Area. I'm talking about Oakland, California. Many of y'all have known him from his previous documentary, Out of Darkness. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Amadeuz Christ to the Necessary Blackness podcast.
Yo, what's good, family? What's good? Happy to be here. Happy to be back.
Yeah, you know what? While I was doing that intro, I was saying to myself, this is not your first time around the rodeo. You've been here before.
Been here before.
Not only has he been here before, but we teamed up together to do the Atlanta debut of your documentary.
Plaza Theater.
Yep, Plaza Theater. Yep. What year was that, brother?
2016.
2016. And here we are in 2023.
Damn.
It's a long time, right?
Damn. 7 years.
7 years. So, in between that time,
6 years.
What have you been doing?
Mastering my craft, bro.
Mastering the craft. Some people might argue that you already mastered your craft.
Nah,
they say
man,
that,
I haven't even started yet.
Well, you know the saying though, right? If you got 10,000 hours of practice or on-the-job training, then that initiates you to be a master. And I'm sure you got more than 10,000 hours in.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do. But you know what I'm saying? It's still a lot more room to grow, bro.
All right.
It's a lot more room to grow. I've been doing all of this myself, and recently, probably within the last like year, I really was serious about adding my team members. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but it's it's other projects that I'm working on. You know what I mean? So
we're going to get to all that.
Yeah.
What I want you to do, right, because I want to talk from a filmmaker's perspective, because that's the only thing that I know how to do when I'm around other filmmakers, right? Now, when you say that you've been doing this yourself, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know, right, that you score your movie, right?
Yeah.
That you do your graphics.
Yeah.
You do your motion graphics.
Yeah.
You do your filming. You do your editing.
Coloring, artwork,
folly. What else is left that you don't
do? You seen the credits?
Yeah. So what made you? Because you experience, a significant amount of success, right?
Yeah.
So what made you say to yourself, I need to bring in a team to take it to the next level?
Scaling your business. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As an artist, you got to kind of play that game between artist and business, right? The artist doesn't really handle business most of the time. The artist is always in creative mode, right?
Absolutely.
So, in order to scale your business and grow your business and expand it, though, you need to be focused on all business, right? So it's hard to wear because those are like two different hats you got to wear. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you know how it is. Like when it's good shaping you in the beginning, but once your business gets to a certain point, like you got to have somebody that just focuses on the business part, and that's all they do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm working on this Detroit film. I'm sure we'll get to that later. But one of the main themes of the Detroit documentary is like we're kind of focusing on like Paradise Valley, Detroit, 1940s, 1950s, the auto industry, Henry Ford, the assembly line. You know what I mean? Where everybody just has their own specialty, what they do. This person only does this one thing. He's not doing anything else but this one thing, and he just becomes a master at that. You know what I mean? And then Berry Gordy kind of took that model and applied it to Motown. You know what I mean? So, I'm not an expert on Motown, but you had different people doing different things in Motown. You know what I mean? But it was just like an assembly line. Like they had one place where it's just they do nothing but music, and then they go somewhere and somebody else is choreograph. You know what I mean? They're training on, and then you got somebody else that helps with the dress. You know what I mean? And somebody else helps with the style. So it's just like everybody has their own specialty, right? It's the same thing on the film set, right? You got your cinematographer, you got your lighting guy, you got your DP, you know what I mean? You got your director, you got your gaffer, you know what I mean? You got your sound guy. So up until this point, before I added my team, I was just doing all that stuff on my own because I literally couldn't afford to hire these people, right?
So it's safe to say that due to the financial success of Out of Darkness, you was able to put in place a team.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Because my team been riding with me. They from Detroit, so they used to that grind. They used to that hard gutter grind, you know what I'm saying? That stick it out with you in the mud, and really push through it. But no, I still don't have a whole lot of money, bro. I'm comfortable. Yeah. You know what I mean? I ain't starving, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Mm-hmm. So this is the point right now in the business where I'm kind of relinquishing some of that control. You know, like they give you like the 80-20 rule. Yeah. Where you it's different 80-20 rules, but basically the 80-20 rule that I'm talking about is like bringing the quality down. Cause right now I'm like concerned about the quality. So I'm like more hands-on with everything. You know what I mean? Because I have to like establish the quality of the brand.
Quality control.
Yeah. Well, now I feel like, in 2022, 2023, like my brand, I went through a whole rebranding process, and I got the, you know what I mean, the merch and everything now. So
let's get to the brand.
Yeah.
Tell them the name of the brand and the symbol, and what does that symbol symbolizes.
Okay, so the brand is Building 7. Building 7 Media Company is the official name of my company. The first logo I did got stolen. So I had to think of another image to represent my company. And at the time I created this logo, the 7 with the snake, I was real heavy into Dogon. I was reading Pale Fox. Okay. Most recently I got into conversations with Olga Tameli.
Okay.
So the 7 represents spiritual perfection, and it also represents the 7th Nomo. If anybody knows anything about the Dogon, the 7th Nomo was the master of speech. But basically, the snake is Medu Neter. The snake represents to say, and then the snake has a hand in it, and the hand represents to give, right? So. And the snake also represents the word. It's like a vibration, right? Because if you look at a sine wave, and it looks like an S, right? Like a you know what I mean? Like a undulating snake. So it's basically, it has a deep metaphorical meaning, but it's basically word, vibration, sound, speech. You know what I mean? And then the 7th Nomo in the Dogon cosmology, the 7th Nomo was the master of speech. You know what I mean? And then you had the 8, and the 8 represents new beginning. But it's basically just,
it's a lot of symbolism when you're dealing with the snake. Even when you look at the emergency sign where they have the snake, going like this. Yeah. And it represents the Kundalini spirit, the spirit, the spine. Yeah. So there's a lot of correlation with that. Yeah. So when we come back, I want you to take us into Out of Darkness. Okay. Right? Yep. For those that are in darkness, we're going to pull them out of that, right? Yep. And we're going to deep dive into that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick commercial break. And for those that are watching this as a video, we're going to show you a snippet of the trailer to Out of Darkness. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rahiem Shabazz. And if you're just joining us, we got the one and only Amadeuz Christ. He's in the building.
See, when you were born, that's just a different awareness. That's an awareness of a consciousness that already existed. It is now becoming aware and is still gaining knowledge.
With each stage of consciousness that we would evolve into, it required a death to the previous stage of consciousness so that you could rise up into another level of manifestation.
To us, there is no concept of death.
There is no death. There is only a continual rebirth.
The body decays and returns back to earth, but you're not your body. You are your consciousness. You are the spiritual energy that still exists.
Is being part of a continuous cycle of beginnings and endings.
A life that can neither be created nor destroyed.
So if you can't be destroyed, only transform from one state to another.
Now you're in the next phase of this eternal life that each and every one of us has.
And so we understood life to be a constant and consistent process of life, death, and resurrection.
The original mythological story.
Where the father gets killed. The wife brings him back to life. But while he's still dead, she gets impregnated and produces a child.
This is the world's first story of a virgin birth.
And this child has come forth as the savior of the world.
To resurrect his father's life. To resurrect the life of his family.
What you're seeing is the family as the image of God.
The Holy Trinity was actually God, woman, and man.
These stories and concepts that predate the biblical narratives by over 1,000 years.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in the building with our special guest, no other than Amadeuz Christ. And before we took our quick non-commercial break, because you know ain't nothing commercial around here, we was talking about Out of Darkness, right? So what I'm going to have this brother do is pull you out of darkness and put you into the light. We want to put you into the light. We're going to educate you, right? Because when you look at the word education and you look at the etymology of that word, right, it says adducere, which means to bring out what is already there. So we're going to tap in with the brother Amadeuz Christ. And if you haven't seen his documentary, he is definitely tapped in with the master teachers. So can you tell people what is the concept of Out of Darkness, the film?
It's multiple. The main thing is bringing our people out of darkness, right?
Okay.
Meaning darkness, meaning they sleep, right? I'm not gonna use the whole terminology, but basically bringing people out of a dark place, which is Black culture. You know what I mean? And showing them the light. You know what I mean? But it also represents a metaphysical thing where everything comes out of the blackness. You know what I mean? Like the whole melanin space and you know what I mean?
Black seed, black dot.
Everything coming out of the blackness. It also represents for me on a personal level, just me dealing with just being like what I would consider to me being like in a dark place, not like a depression or anything like that, but just being in a place where I know I can improve. You know what I mean? I know there's space for me to improve my life. You know what I mean? Being kind of like, and this is how I ended up in Georgia. You know what I mean? Being taken away from California, being taken away from everything I knew and love, and you know what I mean? My family, and having to relocate into a whole nother state on the other side of the country. You know what I mean? Not really my choice, and having to figure this out and kind of dig my way and try to find my way back. Like I'm still trying to get back home, but you know, I got kids, so I got to do what's best for my kids. You know what I mean?
That's what Out of the Darkness represents for you.
Yeah, for me on a personal level. You know what I mean?
Now, there's several grandmaster teachers, some very interesting people. The subject matter goes into a lot of the teachings from Kemet. from Egyptology. Let individuals know who are some of those prominent people that are featured in your documentary.
Okay, so the first one is narrated by Professor Kamane. We got Tony Browder in there. We got Atlantis Browder in there. We got Dr. Claude Anderson in there. We got Dr. Joy DeGruy in there. We got the almighty Professor James Small in there. We got Taj Tariq Bey. And we also got Sabir Bey. And we also got Tim Wise in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. Tim Wise.
Yeah.
Now, why Tim Wise?
Tim Wise was, I didn't really plan for him to be in it. Like, it wasn't like I wrote down like everybody that I want, and Tim Wise was on my original list. But at the time, he was really popular speaking, and I just ran into him like everybody else that was in the film. I would just go to their speaking engagement. You know what I mean? Tim Wise just happened to be in town, ran up on him, went to one of his lectures, listened to his lectures, you know, and just ran up on him afterwards and just say, hey, you got like 10, 15 minutes to speak. I'm a young college student doing a film, racism, white supremacy. The reason why I chose Tim Wise was because a lot of the time, like, our people, unfortunately, need to hear something come out of a white person's mouth.
The white man ice is cold.
You know what I mean? We just need to hear it, because it's like, it's one thing when we're talking about racism, white supremacy, and then it kind of seems like, well, you guys are just imagining this and crying about it, and it's not really real. But having like a quote unquote white person saying it and validating it, like, we needed to hear that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it got to come from that's just how we are, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tim Wise, to me, he's an interesting person. When he first came across my radar, I, like you, listened to a lot of what he was saying. I was like, wow, you know, there's very few John Browns that are on code. Yeah. And when you get one, particularly of, you know, another ethnicity, it's always good to look at him. You know what I mean? But he made his position on reparations, and it was certain little things that he say where I'm just like, you might be a suspected racist and white supremacist. You know what I mean? But, you know, we still out on that. I just don't agree with his statement on reparations. You know, if you speak and talk about the harm that been visited upon those who are descendants of the most egregious act of brutality visited upon humanity, and you don't feel like they deserve reparations, then everything else you're doing is just talking. You know, so that's my thing with him. But you put him in the movie. He's in there, as well as several other prominent people. What has been the reception? Because I know, you know, you did your screening here, then from there you went all around the country. Yeah. What has been the reception?
Positive. Now we're through the second film. Okay. I you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I really didn't know how big it was until I just got back from New York.
This time?
This like last month.
Okay.
I was in New York for the Happy event. And it was just like a surreal moment, because people didn't believe that I was me. You know what I mean? They're like, Amadeuz, like, that's really you? Like, they were like, everybody knows who you are. And I was like, really? They're like, no. This lady, she was like, my grandmother, she's like, my grandmother doesn't even watch documentaries or movies or anything. She don't even watch TV. She was like, my grandmother's, the only thing she watched is Amadeuz Christ and Dr. Francis Quest Wilson.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. And then other people was like telling me, Out of Darkness is on Peacock. And I didn't even know it was on Peacock.
You didn't know?
I didn't even know it was on Peacock.
You didn't know?
Nah.
How was your movie on Peacock?
Because I signed
you did the deal, the distribution.
I did a distribution deal. October 21. Did a 3-year distribution deal. So it's still like going to platforms like.
And also, let it be known, you was also on Revolt.
I was also on Revolt. We did a 3-year deal with Revolt back in 2020. Yeah. So I think 2021 it played for like the first like 2 weeks, like crazy nonstop on Revolt TV.
I remember. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we went on our quick commercial break, we was talking about filmmaking. We was talking about Out of Darkness, and I was talking about the brother Amadeuz and how we all know individuals. Everybody knows somebody, right? But it's another thing to witness someone's miraculous rise in greatness, you know what I mean, from their humble beginning. And I remember when the brother first came to Atlanta and how we hooked up. And he was telling us the story. How did that happen again?
So when I first got here, I went to Greenbrier, right? Greenbrier Mall. Went to Amadeuz Books.
Okay.
Talked to Sister Nia. You know what I'm saying? So I put a couple copies in there, and she told me about you first because I seen Elementary Genocide up there, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta hook up with brother Rahiem Shabazz." I don't think she had your number though, or she couldn't find it or something like that. But she couldn't find your number or something like that. But then right after that, I went to Marcus, to Nubian Bookstore, and put some joints in there. And Marcus told me, he was like, "Oh, you got to hook up with brother Rahiem." So
two people in one day. I must be popular.
Yeah. So I called you from the I called you in the parking lot from Nubian Bookstore. Yeah. And then he super cool, super good energy. You was like, yeah. Just hit me up when you ready. You know what I'm saying?
And did we pull up that day, or was it another day?
It was like maybe that day or like a few days later. It wasn't long after that. But you just gave me the tour, drove me around Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Told me the different spots to get the DVD. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ended up getting it a couple more spots at Low 5 Point.
Yeah. You know that brother Transition?
Yeah, piece of the brother that Transition, Luxor.
Because you told me about him, and I got mines in there.
Yeah. Transition not too long ago. But man. So you kind of gave me my introduction to Atlanta, bro.
And then you asked me, you was like, "Brother, I need to do a screening." I said,
yeah.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna show you how to do it. We'll do it the same place I did mine.
Yeah, at the Plaza.
And you did yours at the Plaza. Man, a lot of people came out. Nice. Very successful, man. Yeah. And this is why it's always good, man, to help individuals, because you'll never know where they're gonna be at on their journey. The brother's on Revolt. He's on Peacock. So I might have to tap in and get on Revolt. Peacock.
I'm still in my humble beginning stages. You know
but what's unique about it is that you did that, you know what I mean, and you continue to put out documentaries.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And ever since that day, man, we always kept in contact.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's always good as a filmmaker to be able to tap in with another filmmaker, right? So by me doing that for him, one day we was right here, same place, same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Brother, that animation that you be doing," he was like, "Oh, the parallel effects." I said, "Yeah, man, I need to get that." He said, "Man, that's easy."
Yeah.
It's easy for you. I'm talking about, he literally for about 2-3 hours sat here, showed me how to do it. Nah. And then he was like, "All right, you got it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kept practicing.
I remember
and
that.
Lo and behold, when I did Elementary Genocide 3, you're going to see a lot of parallel effects, right? And what that does is that increases the production value.
Yeah.
It looked like I had some money there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I knew it worked when I had several people say, "Yo, man, I like this documentary. Yeah, this is the one. You know, I like 1 and 2, but this one right here." And it was like, "Yo, so who edited it?" Who edited it? I did. You know what I mean? Hey. But it was those parallel effects, some little, I ain't gonna tell you all the sauce he gave me, but yeah, man. So I really appreciate that.
I just showed you one little thing, bro. You ran with that. You put your own little sauce on it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
But we was talking about some new things today.
Yeah.
You know, that's coming down the pipeline. We ain't putting that out yet. Nah. Y'all gotta witness that in cinema. You know, because we start talking about it, everybody will start doing it.
Yeah.
So listen, the documentary filmmaking, you know, it's gonna be solidified that you left your mark in that, right? As far as cinema, any full features, anything else you're gonna be doing? Maybe like, you know, high budget commercials or something.
Bro, I'm working on a big project, bro. Like, I'm working on something that I've been developing since 2012. Actually, like Out of Darkness and Heavy as a Crown is all just practice. You know what I mean?
Wow.
This is like the project that I'm talking about is the motivator for me doing all the documentaries. Like the documentaries is just the research for this IP, intellectual property. But it's a big project. It's gonna be. I'm aiming for it to be 16 books, a video game that'll probably come out in 4 parts, and 64 episodes of like a Netflix style series.
Oh wow!
Right, like that will span eight seasons. So it's like an 8 to 10 year project, you know, production wise.
Oh wow! I see why you said the documentaries was practice.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if it's gonna be a feature film yet or if it's gonna be animation. But the animation will be like CG animation. It won't be like Disney. I mean, I might do it like a Disney version, but it would be something where it's utilizing like the new technology where, you know, where this AI and stuff is going. Because right now, bro, I don't know if they got programs to where I could film you running down the street with my camera, bring that into the computer and take a 3D character that I created and literally drag and drop that character onto you, and it'll make the character, you know what I mean? Like
do everything that I did.
That you did.
Yeah.
It's just drag and drop. So if that's where we are now, and it's the technology is just it's ramping up like every day, bro. By the time I'm really ready to do this project, I got a Detroit project that I'm working on.
What's the name of the Detroit movie?
Detroit project is called Walk Through the Valley. Right now, we're looking at probably. Right now, it's a 2-part film, but we're looking to probably expand it into like a 4-part series.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just because I've been really working on this Detroit thing since like 2016.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
So, but now with the new technology, like I'm glad that I didn't put it out prior, because with the technology now, it's like, I could do everything that was restrictive in the beginning. Like there's some stuff that I couldn't have done without doing like a recreation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then what it does is too, it'll speed up the production time.
Yeah.
You know, and production time.
Yeah.
And see, that's one of the things, right? And you seem like to be the master of, and this is like to my fault. Like I'll say, I'll be done in 6 months because I'm in the editing process.
Yeah.
And then I'll do everything in my power to be done in 6 months. And then usually
it don't happen like that.
It never happens like that because you can't rush creativity. Right. You know what I mean? And you are a creative person to the effect of it could take you 2-3 more years. Or six. You know what I mean? To get it out. But now that you got the team in effect, man, I think that we should get one every other year, man.
Well, yeah. The reason the 6-year gap between Out of Darkness and Heavy as a Crown wasn't just film stuff, bro. I had a lot of personal stuff. Fatherhood issues, you know, stuff with my son. You know what I mean? Like, really stuff that I would love to talk about. But I can't.
Nah, some things is personal. You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But plus my grandma had passed in like 2018, like right when I had started working on the film. So it was just like a lot of personal. That's why I'm saying that Out of Darkness for me had a different context, you know what I mean? Because it was really me trying to work myself out of this place, you know what I mean? And just get to a place where I could just be peaceful and just work, you know what I mean? But at the same time, building up my skill set, learning all these additional things that, you know, that I needed to learn to perfect my craft. You know what I mean?
All right. Heavy as the Crown.
Yep.
Tell me about that movie. You know, when I seen it, it's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's a phenomenal movie. What was the inception for you to make that movie, and what's behind it?
Heavy as a Crown was mainly inspired by my trips to Kemet with Tony.
Okay, Tony Browder.
Tony Browder. So I did one trip with him in 2016 where we did the study tour, right? The 2-week study tour. And then he's doing a dig over there too. He's restoring a temple tomb from the 25th, 26th dynasty.
Oh, wow.
Over there in South Asasif. Over there in the West Bank, Luxor. So I stayed with him for another week after the study tour had left. We did a week on the dig site, and then after that, we did a week. We hooked up with Runoko Rashidi, and we did a week in Sudan.
Rest in peace to that brother.
Yeah, Runoko Rashidi. Real cool. So we went to Sudan, Merowe, Kerma, El Kuru, you know, everything. So I really wanted to dig into the religious piece because I felt like that's one of the most important pieces is the spiritual piece, because if we don't have the spiritual peace of mind, how are we going to do anything? You know what I mean? So, you know, and then the whole religion thing, like I grew up Baptist, Christian, you know what I mean? And then that was one of the most profound things when I came into this knowledge, was actually figuring out that we had pretty much, you know, Christianity is an African religion that Europeans took over, you know what I mean? And watered down. And colonized it like they did everything else. So I really wanted to tell that story, and I really wanted to like make it almost like for kids, almost like with the colors and the animation and, you know, the battle between Heru and Set with the, you know, with the lightsaber, fire swords, not lightsabers, fire swords. I really wanted to, and then show these images of the people of ancient Kemet, but look like how they're supposed to look with dark skin, like us, you know what I mean? So those images were just really powerful to kids. And the feedback that I get from the adults is just like, yeah, I watch this with my kids and we have dinner and we discuss this, and the kids is just really glued to the images. And we did a presentation in Detroit at an elementary school called Dawson Elementary. And we did a thing called, shout out to my business partner, Toby Tansel. We did a thing called Learn and Earn, where we would, and these are hood kids from Schoolcraft. So we would ask them, like, we would show a couple minutes of the film, ask them questions. Whoever got the answer right, they get money. So, you know, after the first time, everybody's hands was shooting up. They was answering the questions like better than the adults were. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show you like the power of the images, but two, when kids are incentivized, they'll, you know what I mean? They'll show you, they'll learn, they'll show you what they're capable of. You know what I mean? If it's interested and the subject matter looks like them, you know what I mean? They're all in.
And it also goes to show you, money make the world go round.
Yeah. So, so that was basically the inspiration. Like I had all of that footage from Kemet. And then I went back to Kemet in 2019 with Tony Browder again for another week. So it was those 2 trips to Kemet, Sudan, and then in 2016 I went to Italy, went to the Vatican, went all around Rome. You know what I mean? So I just really got all of that and just mix it all together, and it really came out dope. And that's you haven't even seen the whole film, because it's a whole nother volume that's about to come out.
Volume 3.
Volume 2.
Oh, it's gonna be volume 2 of Heavy as the Crown. Heavy as the Crown. Okay.
Because Heavy as the Crown isn't Out of Darkness Part 2 officially. It's just like another installment in the Out of Darkness series. Like there will be eventually an Out of Darkness 2. Yeah. Like official Out of Darkness 2. But this is just kind of like its own thing that has to do with spirituality and religion. Okay. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of history in there too. And the thing that makes Heavy as a Crown so special is that all the artwork like all of the figures and the Medu Neter and the judgment scene and all those characters and stuff. Like I literally hand drew them, colored them, you know, and made it to where all the hands and the arms and move and elbows and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what took a lot of time was doing the artwork. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of time, great time spent, man, to make such a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So traveling with Tony Browder, whether it was in Italy or going to Egypt and Kemet, right? I know that has to have a profound effect on you, because it's one thing to travel and see the world, right? That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But when you're in the presence of a grandmaster teacher, like, who can do that? You know what I mean? Not too many people can do that. Yeah. What was that like for you?
It made all the difference in the world, because you can go to Egypt and see everything, but you don't get the context. You know what I mean? And then you have the people over there, they don't really know the history like they should be telling it to you. They're going to tell you a different version. You know what I mean? But when you go with somebody like Tony Browder, bro, and they're putting everything in context, and you go out to this temple, and then we get back to the hotel. Then we have a lecture that night of everything that we just saw, and he's breaking down all the symbolism, and you know what I mean. It's just laying it all out for you. It's just you need that. It's like a pilgrimage. You know what I mean? Like going to Kemet is like a pilgrimage that I feel like every African needs to take. You know, every African, even on the continent. You know what I mean? You got to go to Kemet just to see, because that's like our classical African civilization. That's like our high point, or one of them. You know what I mean?
Now you said something that was profound. You was like, they over there don't even know the history. And recently, Kevin Hart, you know, was speaking candidly about our history and how we need to learn our history and know about Egyptology and Kemet. And they got mad. And for whatever reason, his shows in Egypt got canceled.
That's not even the half of it.
You know about that?
Yeah. They got a group over there. I've had skirmishes with them. They actually got one of Taki from Happy was doing an event. He was supposed to be doing a big conference out
over there
in Egypt. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And whatever group this is, they're like some type of, they don't like Afro. They're called like the Afrocentric debunkers or something like that. Yeah. And they was making death threats, and it was a big thing, bro. And they had to shut down that event. And you know what I mean? There's a lot more behind it that I could tell. You know what I mean? But yeah, then they tried to interrupt one of my live streams that I did with Tony. You know what I mean? I had my moderators blocked. Yeah, because we got calls from Egypt saying, "Hey, these guys are gonna interrupt your show." You know what I mean? Be on the lookout for these guys. They're gonna, they're trolls.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? But you got to take that stuff seriously, because you know what I mean? Yeah, you're in a different country. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you go over there, though, when we do the study tours, we got like armed security, bro. Like they got AKs and everything. They're not playing. But there's other times when we don't have that. You know what I mean? So when somebody make death threats, you gotta take it seriously. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Especially if they're in another country, you don't know who these people are. But yeah, they have a big issue with what they call Afrocentric version of history.
It's an Afrocentric version of the truth is what they don't want. Yeah. But this is to let y'all know, ladies and gentlemen, man, having knowledge of self, being conscious is not for the faint of heart. No. Like your life will be threatened. Like you will live in obscurity. Your family, your friends will denounce you. Because they have been colonized and indoctrinated to the point of no return. All right, so is there anything that I didn't ask you, I should have asked you, or anything that you want to say in your last closing word?
No, we good. I think we covered it. You know what I mean? OutofDarknessFilm.com is where you could get the film. It's Out of Darkness and Heavy as a Crown, pretty much streaming on every major platform, from Amazon Prime to Google to YouTube to Vudu to Tubi. You can watch it for free. Out of Darkness, the first one is on Peacock. As of about a month ago. So it's on we got the merch, we got the hats, I got socks, I got slides, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Heavy as a Crown Volume 2 is coming soon, and we got the Detroit film Walk Through the Valley that's coming soon.
All right,
Yeah.
man. I'll be
So stay tuned
looking
for that.
forward to seeing that, man. Make sure y'all visit this brother's website. Make sure y'all run it up, man, and support him. This is Rahiem Shabazz, and we in the building with Amadeuz Christ. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yee.
Salute.
Catch you guys on the next one.